Karen Spärck Jones 1935–2007 was a visionary British computer scientist whose work laid the foundational logic for modern search engines and natural language processing. She is most famous for introducing the concept of inverse document frequency (IDF) in 1972, a statistical formula that weights the importance of a word based on how rarely it appears across a collection of documents. This principle, now ubiquitous in the TF-IDF weighting scheme, allows computers to understand that common words like the are less informative than specific terms like biochemistry. Beyond her technical breakthroughs, she was a fierce advocate for women in technology, famously asserting that computing is too important to be left to men. Her interdisciplinary approach combining linguistics, statistics, and philosophy transformed how machines interpret human language and earned her the Lovelace Medal as the first female recipient. Born in Huddersfield, Yorkshire, Karen Spärck Jones was the daughter of a chemistry lecturer and a Norwegian mother who had escaped to Britain during the German occupation of Norway in World War II. This international background influenced her early outlook, and she was educated at Seaford Ladies' College before moving on to Girton College, Cambridge. Interestingly, she did not start out in computer science, which was barely a field at the time, but instead studied history and philosophy, then known as the moral sciences tripos. Her transition into the world of computing began in the late 1950s when she joined the Cambridge Language Research Unit, where her philosophical training in semantics proved to be a secret weapon for solving the complex problems of machine translation and automated indexing. 1958 The analogy between mechanical translation and library retrieval draws parallels between the challenges of machine translation and information retrieval, suggesting shared theoretical ground. 1959 Fictitious sentences in language explores the theoretical generation and properties of artificial sentences within a formal linguistic framework. 1961 Mechanized semantic classification reports on early experiments using machines to categorize words based on their meaning. 1964 Keywords and clumps, recent work on information retrieval at the Cambridge Language Research Unit, proposes using automatically identified clusters clumps of associated keywords to improve document retrieval. 1964 Synonymy and semantic classification investigates the problem of word synonymy and methods for grouping words into semantic categories automatically. 1965 Experiments in semantic classification presents results from practical experiments in automatically classifying words by their semantic properties. 1967 Current approaches to classification and clump finding at the Cambridge Language Research Unit updates on the methodologies being used for document classification and term clustering at the CLRU. 1967 The use of the theory of clumps for information retrieval, a formal project report applying clump theory, the idea of term clusters, to practical information retrieval problems. 1967 Use of the theory of clumps for information retrieval, an alternative entry or version of the report on applying clump theory to IR 1967. Notes on semantic discourse structure, early theoretical notes on the structure of meaning in extended discourse or text. 1968 Automatic term classifications and retrieval, examines the relationship between automatically generated classes of terms and their effectiveness in document retrieval. 1968 Some experiments in the use of automatically obtained term clusters for retrieval, presents experimental findings on using machine-generated term clusters to improve search results. 1970 The use of automatically obtained keyword classifications for information retrieval, evaluates the practical utility of machine-generated keyword categories in operational search systems. 1970 Automatic thesaurus construction and the relation of a thesaurus to indexing terms, explores methods for building thesauri automatically and discusses their role in the document indexing process. 1970 Some thoughts on classification for retrieval, a philosophical and practical discussion on the purpose and methods of document classification within retrieval systems. 1971 Automatic Keyword Classification for Information Retrieval, details specific techniques for automatically assigning documents to categories based on keywords. 1971 What makes an automatic keyword classification effective investigates the key factors that determine the success or failure of automatic keyword classification systems. 1971 Automated Language Processing, a collaborative work surveying the field of using computers to process human language. 1972 A statistical interpretation of term specificity and its application in retrieval, introduces the foundational inverse document frequency IDF principle, which quantifies a term's importance based on its distribution across a collection. 1972 Some thesauric history, provides a historical overview of the development and use of thesauri in information science and library contexts. 1973 Index term weighting, develops and analyzes methods for assigning numerical weights to index terms to reflect their significance in documents. 1973 Linguistics and Information Science, a book co-authored with Martin K. exploring the connections and intersections between linguistic theory and information science. 1973 Collection Properties Influencing Automatic Term Classification Performance, studies how the characteristics of a document collection size, subject, etc. affect the performance of automatic term classification. 1973, a test for the separation of relevant and non-relevant documents in experimental retrieval collections, proposes a statistical test for evaluating how well a retrieval method separates relevant from non-relevant documents in test collections. 1973 Does indexing exhaustivity matter? Investigates whether more thorough and detailed indexing of documents consistently leads to better retrieval performance. 1973 Index term frequency and quartile deletion, examines the effect of removing very high or low frequency terms by quartile on indexing and retrieval. 1974 Automatic Indexing, a comprehensive survey article analyzing the state-of-the-art in techniques for automatic document indexing. 1975 Report on the need for and provision of an ideal information retrieval test collection, argues for and outlines the specifications of a standardized, high-quality test collection to fairly evaluate IR systems. 1975 A performance yardstick for test collections, proposes metrics and benchmarks for assessing the quality and utility of information retrieval test collections themselves. 1976 Relevance weighting of search terms Robertson and Spärck Jones, the seminal paper presenting the probabilistic relevance weighting framework that became the basis for the Okapi BM25 ranking algorithm. 1976 Relevance weighting of search terms Spärck Jones and Robertson, an alternative author order entry for the same seminal probabilistic weighting paper. 1976 Information Retrieval Test Collections, discusses the design, construction, and critical importance of standardized test collections for advancing IR research. 1976 Progress in Documentation, likely a review or commentary article on significant advances within the field of documentation and information science. 1976 Linguistik und Informationswissenschaft, the German translation publication of the work exploring the relationship between linguistics and information science. 1976 Automatic Classification, an entry, possibly a review or book chapter, on the topic of automatic classification systems. 1977 Research on Automatic Indexing, 1974 to 1976, a report summarizing research progress and developments in automatic indexing over a 3-year period. 1977 Report on a design study for the ideal information retrieval test collection, a follow-up technical report detailing design plans for an advanced, idealized test collection. 1979 Search term relevance weighting. Given little relevance information, addresses the practical challenge of applying probabilistic relevance weighting when only minimal user feedback or relevance data is available. 1979 Experiments in relevance weighting of search terms, presents experimental results comparing different models and approaches to weighting search terms based on relevance. 1979 Modern online systems, challenges to research, discusses the new research challenges posed by the advent of interactive, online retrieval systems. 1980, Research on Relevance Weighting. 1976-1979, summarizes the key developments and findings in relevance weighting research over a critical 4-year span. 1980. Search term relevance weighting. Some recent results, reports on new findings and refinements in techniques for weighting search terms. 1980 The role of automatic indexing in operational online retrieval systems, examines the practical application and integration of automatic indexing methods in live, online search systems. 1981 Information Retrieval Experiment, a book providing a definitive account of the methodology and results of the influential Cranfield experiments in IR evaluation. 1981 Retrieval System Tests. 1958-1978, offers a historical review and analysis of information retrieval system evaluations conducted over 2 decades. 1981 A General Semantic Analyzer for Database Access, describes a system designed to use semantic analysis to interpret natural language queries for database access. 1982 Automatic Summarizing of English Texts, an early technical report exploring approaches to automatically creating summaries of English language documents. 1982 Natural Language Access to Databases, Some Questions and a Specific Approach, raises key challenges and proposes a particular method for building natural language interfaces to databases. 1982 Steps Towards Natural Language to Data Language Translation Using General Semantic Information, outlines a research direction for translating natural language queries into database queries using semantic information. 1982 Three Papers on Parsing, a collection of technical reports on natural language parsing techniques. 1983 Compound Noun Interpretation Problems, investigates the linguistic and computational challenges in correctly interpreting the meaning of compound nouns, e.g. Student Film Committee. 1983 How to Drive a Database Front End Using General Semantic Information, describes an architecture for controlling a database interface using broad semantic knowledge rather than strict syntactic rules. 1983 Shifting Meaning Representations, discusses the dynamic nature of meaning representation in language understanding systems. 1983 Report on a Visit to the U.S. 27.1. 83 to 4.283, a travel report detailing research visits and observations in the United States. 1983 Programs in Advanced Information Technology, likely a commentary or review of major research programs in advanced IT. 1984 Automatic Search Term Variant Generation, examines methods for automatically generating synonyms, morphological variants, or related terms to expand user queries and improve recall. 1984 Linguistically Motivated Descriptive Term Selection, focuses on selecting index terms for documents based on linguistic principles, e.g. noun phrases rather than purely statistical metrics. 1984 Natural Language and Databases, again, revisits the persistent challenges of creating effective natural language interfaces for database systems. 1984 User Models and Expert Systems, explores the role of user modeling within the architecture of expert systems. 1984 Proposals for R&D in Intelligent Knowledge-Based Systems, IKBS, presents research and development proposals for the emerging field of intelligent knowledge-based systems. 1985 Natural Language Interfaces for Expert Systems, an introductory note. provides an introduction to the issues and opportunities in using natural language interfaces for expert systems. 1986 Readings in Natural Language Processing, an edited volume compiling important early papers that helped define the field of natural language processing. 1986 What Sort of a Thing is an AI Experiment? A philosophical discussion on the nature of experimentation and evaluation in artificial intelligence research. 1986 A Framework for Inference in Natural Language Front-Ends to Databases, proposes a structured framework for handling inference and ambiguity in natural language interfaces to databases. 1987 Distributed Expert-Based Information Systems, an Interdisciplinary Approach, a collaborative paper discussing the architecture of distributed systems that integrate expertise from multiple sources. 1987 Realism About User Modeling, argues for pragmatic and empirically grounded approaches to modeling users in interactive computer systems. 1987 A Note on a Study of Cases, a brief technical note on research related to case-based reasoning or linguistic case studies. 1987 Issues in User Modeling for Expert Systems, discusses the specific challenges of creating and utilizing user models within expert system applications. 1987 Material concerning a study of cases, supplementary material related to research on case-based reasoning or linguistic cases. 1987 In Statistisk Interpretation von Begriffspsiffitat und ihrer Anwendung für das Retrieval, the German translation of the seminal 1972 paper on IDF, a statistical interpretation of term specificity. 1988 Document Retrieval Systems, a book chapter likely providing an overview of models and architectures for document retrieval systems. 1988 Fashionable Trends and Feasible Strategies in Information Management, commentary on distinguishing between fleeting trends and practical, sustainable strategies in the management of information. 1988 A Look Back and a Look Forward, a reflective article considering the history and future directions of information retrieval research, possibly for a SIGIR conference. 1988 User Models, Discourse Models, and Some Others, discusses different types of models discourse used in computational linguistics and human-computer interaction. 1988 Architecture Problems in the Construction of Expert Systems for Document Retrieval, identifies and discusses the key architectural challenges in building expert systems designed for document retrieval tasks. 1988 Architecture Problems in the Construction of Expert Systems for Document Retrieval Conference Entry, a conference presentation version of the work on expert system architectures for IR 1989. Realism About User Modeling Book Chapter, a book chapter version of the argument for pragmatic user modeling. 1989 Inference in a Natural Language Front-End to Databases, a technical report on mechanisms for drawing inferences within a natural language interface to databases. 1990 Natural Language Interfaces to Databases, a survey paper reviewing the state-of-the-art, challenges, and techniques for building natural language interfaces to databases. 1990 What's in a User, a concise discussion probing the essential components and complexities of modeling a system's user. 1990 Retrieving Information or Answering Questions explores the distinction between traditional document retrieval and the more precise task of question answering. 1991 Notes and References on Early Automatic Classification Work, provides historical commentary and key references on the pioneering work in automatic classification. 1991 The Role of Artificial Intelligence in Information Retrieval, analyzes how techniques from artificial intelligence can be applied to solve problems in information retrieval. 1991 Shallow Processing and Automatic Summarizing, a first study, investigates the potential of using computationally shallow linguistic analysis, e.g. syntax without deep semantics, for automatic summarization. 1991 Tailoring Output to the User, What does user modeling in generation mean? Examines the concept of user modeling specifically in the context of natural language generation systems. 1992 Automating the librarian, belief revision as a base for system action and communication with the user, proposes using AI techniques for belief revision to create interactive, conversational retrieval systems that mimic a librarian's dialogue. 1992 The role of explanations in collaborative problem solving, discusses the importance of systems being able to explain their reasoning in collaborative AI environments. 1992 A comparison of architectures for autonomous multi-agent communication, compares different software architectures for enabling communication between autonomous AI agents. 1992 Assumptions and Issues in Text-Based Retrieval, a book chapter examining foundational assumptions and open problems in text retrieval systems. 1993 What might be in a summary, a conceptual paper exploring the essential elements and content that constitute an effective summary. 1993 Summarizing Text for Intelligent Communication, likely a report or paper from a Dagstuhl seminar focused on summarization for intelligent systems. 1993 Natural Language Processing Journal Entry, a brief journal entry, likely a review or note on NLP. 1993 Revising Beliefs and Intentions, a unified framework for agent interaction, presents a framework for how AI agents can update their beliefs and goals during interaction. 1994 Simple, Proven Approaches to Text Retrieval, advocates for the effectiveness of robust, well-understood statistical methods in IR over unnecessarily complex alternatives. 1994 Natural Language Processing, a historical review, traces the development of the natural language processing field from its early days to the mid-1990s. 1994 Towards Better NLP System Evaluation, argues for more rigorous, systematic, and meaningful evaluation methodologies for natural language processing systems. 1994 Video Mail Retrieval by Voice, an overview of the Cambridge Olivetti retrieval system, describes a system for retrieving video mail messages using spoken voice queries. 1994 Modeling Information Retrieval Agents with Belief Revision, applies formal belief revision models to the design of intelligent agent-based retrieval systems. 1994 Video Mail Retrieval Using Voice, report on keyword definition and data collection, a technical report detailing the initial stages of the video mail retrieval project, focusing on defining searchable keywords and collecting data. 1995 Evaluating Natural Language Processing Systems, an Analysis and Review, a comprehensive book establishing a framework and best practices for the evaluation of NLP systems. 1995 Evaluating Natural Language Processing Systems, an Analysis and Review ALT entry, an alternative citation for the same evaluation book. 1995 Automatic Content-Based Retrieval of Broadcast News, explores techniques for retrieving specific segments from broadcast news videos based on their audiovisual content. 1995 Reflections on TREC, offers personal and analytical insights on the impact and lessons of the early text retrieval conference TREC evaluations. 1995 Video Mail Retrieval Using Voice, an overview of the Stage 2 system, provides an overview of an advanced version of the video mail retrieval system. 1995 Automatic Summarizing Book Chapter, a book chapter providing an overview of the field of automatic text summarization. 1995 Performance of Text Retrieval Systems, a short article, likely commenting on the state of text retrieval system performance. 1995 Natural Language Processing, She Needs Something Old and Something New, a perspective piece arguing that progress in NLP requires a blend of established and novel approaches. 1996 Natural Language Processing for Information Retrieval, discusses specific applications of NLP techniques, like parsing and morphology, to improve information retrieval systems. 1996 Experiments in Spoken Document Retrieval presents experimental results from research on retrieving information from collections of audio documents. 1996 Retrieving Spoken Documents by Combining Multiple Index Sources investigates improving retrieval accuracy by fusing evidence from different indexing methods applied to spoken audio. 1996 Robust Talker Independent Audio Document Retrieval focuses on building spoken document retrieval systems that work reliably regardless of the speaker's identity. 1996 NLP track at TREC5 describes the natural language processing track at the 5th Text Retrieval Conference. 1996 Video Mail Retrieval Using Voice report on collection of naturalistic requests and relevance assessments, a report on creating a test collection of realistic user queries and judgments for evaluating the video mail retrieval system. 1996 Discourse Modeling for Automatic Summarizing explores how modeling the discourse structure of a text can aid in generating better summaries. 1996 How much has information technology contributed to linguistics preprint, a preprint posing a reflective question about the impact of computational tools on the field of linguistics itself. 1997 Readings in Information Retrieval, an influential edited volume that collects and contextualizes the most important classic papers in information retrieval. 1997 Unconstrained Keyword Spotting Using Phone Lattices with Application to Spoken Document Retrieval presents an advanced technique for finding keywords in continuous speech using phonetic networks lattices. 1997 Okapi at TREC6 Automatic Ad Hoc, VLC, Routing, Filtering and QSDR, reports on the performance and techniques of the Okapi system in multiple tracks of the TREC6 conference. 1997 Acoustic Indexing for Multimedia Retrieval and Browsing discusses methods for creating searchable indexes directly from the acoustic signal of audio and video files. 1997 TREC6 1997 Spoken Document Retrieval Track Overview and Results provides an overview and summarizes the results of the Spoken Document Retrieval track at TREC6. 1997 Overall Introduction to Readings in IR, the introductory chapter to the Readings in Information Retrieval volume. 1997 Models in Readings in IR, a chapter within Readings in IR discussing the various formal models used in information retrieval. 1998 Open Vocabulary Speech Indexing for Voice and Video Mail Retrieval extends speech indexing techniques to handle any word a user might say, not just a predefined keyword list, for searching voicemail and video mail. 1999 Automatic Summarizing, Factors and Directions, a survey paper identifying key factors in summarization and outlining future research directions for the field. 1999 What is the role of NLP in text retrieval examines and defines the specific, practical contributions that natural language processing can make to improve text-based search engines. 1999 Information Retrieval and Artificial Intelligence revisits the relationship between AI and IR, considering new developments like machine learning. 1999 The Cambridge University Spoken Document Retrieval System describes the architecture and performance of a complete system for retrieving documents from broadcast news audio. 1999 Improving Retrieval on Imperfect Speech Transcriptions Poster Abstract addresses the challenge of retrieving spoken documents when the automatic speech transcription contains errors. 1999 General Query Expansion Techniques for Spoken Document Retrieval applies and evaluates standard text-based query expansion techniques to the domain of spoken document retrieval. 1999 Summary Performance Comparisons Trek 2 through Trek 8 compares retrieval performance results across multiple years of the TREC evaluations. 2000 A Probabilistic Model of Information Retrieval Development and Comparative Experiments, Part 1 and 2, a comprehensive two-part paper presenting a mature probabilistic retrieval model and its extensive experimental validation. 2000 Further Reflections on TREC, a follow-up to the 1995 paper, offering deeper analysis of TREC's evolution and its lasting influence on IR research. 2000 Spoken Document Retrieval for TREC8 at Cambridge University. Details Cambridge University's system and results for the spoken document retrieval track at TREC8. 2000 Spoken Document Retrieval for TREC9 at Cambridge University. Details Cambridge University's system and results for the spoken document retrieval track at TREC9. 2000 Effects of out-of-vocabulary words in spoken document retrieval poster session, analyzes how words not in the system's recognition vocabulary degrade spoken document retrieval performance. 2000 Spoken Document Representations for Probabilistic Retrieval, explores different ways to represent transcribed spoken documents for use with probabilistic retrieval models. 2000 Audio Indexing and Retrieval of Complete Broadcast News Shows. Focuses on techniques for indexing and retrieving entire news programs, including segmentation and topic detection. 2000 Vision Statement to Guide Research in Question and Answering Q&A and Text Summarization, a collaborative document outlining a research agenda for the fields of question answering and text summarization. 2000 An Evaluation Roadmap for Summarization Research, proposes a structured plan for advancing the evaluation of automatic text summarization systems. 2001 Generic Summaries for Indexing in Information Retrieval, investigates using automatically generated generic summaries of documents as enhanced representations for indexing and retrieval. 2001 Automatic Language and Information Processing, Rethinking Evaluation, calls for a fundamental rethinking of how we evaluate systems that process language and information. 2001 Factorial Summary Evaluation, proposes a controlled experimental design factorial to isolate and evaluate different factors affecting summary quality. 2001 Information Retrieval from Unsegmented Broadcast News Audio, tackles the problem of retrieving information from continuous audio streams that haven't been pre-segmented into stories. 2001 The Cambridge University Multimedia Document Retrieval Demo System, describes a demonstration system for retrieving multimedia audio-video documents. 2001 The Cambridge Multimedia Document Retrieval MDR Project, Summary of Experiments, a summary report of experiments conducted within the Multimedia Document Retrieval Project. 2001 LM vs. PM, Where's the Relevance?, a workshop paper critically comparing the then novel language modeling approach to IR with the established probabilistic model, focusing on their treatment of relevance. 2003 Document Retrieval, Shallow Data, Deep Theories, Historical Reflections, Potential Directions, a keynote-style article reflecting on the paradox of IR simple bag of words data supporting rich theoretical models and suggesting future paths. 2003. Privacy, What's Different Now examines how technological changes have altered the landscape and challenges of personal privacy. 2003 Language Modeling and Relevance, a book chapter discussing the concept of relevance within the framework of language modeling approaches to IR. 2004. A Statistical Interpretation of Term Specificity and Its Application in Retrieval. 2004, a later reprint or alternative entry for the classic 1972 IDF paper. 2004 IDF Term Weighting and IR Research Lessons, a short, reflective paper looking back on the profound impact and lessons of the inverse document frequency concept after 3 decades. 2004 What's New About the Semantic Web? Some Questions, poses critical questions about the practical promises and novel contributions of the semantic web from an information retrieval perspective. 2004 Language Modeling's Generative Model, Is It Rational? A technical report questioning the theoretical foundations of the generative story behind language models for IR 2004. Comments on Grand Challenge document GCD Memories for Life, provides commentary on a research proposal concerning lifelong personal digital memories. 2004 Computer Systems, a book, likely an edited volume or textbook on computer systems. 2004 Retrieval System Models, What's New? A book, chapter or article examining recent developments in retrieval models. 2005 Revisiting Classification for Retrieval, returns to the classic topic of document classification, re-examining its role in modern retrieval contexts. 2005 Some Thoughts on Classification for Retrieval. 2005, a later reflection or republication of ideas on classification for retrieval. 2005 Some Points in a Time, the text of an ACL Lifetime Achievement Award speech, offering personal and professional reflections on a career in computational linguistics. 2005, Between Shallow and Deep, an experiment in automatic summarizing, a technical report on an experiment exploring the middle ground between shallow syntactic and deep semantic processing for summarization. 2005 Between Shallow and Deep, an experiment in automatic summarizing ALT entry, an alternative entry for the same summarization experiment report. 2005 Epilogue, Meta-Reflections on TREC, a concluding chapter offering high-level reflections on the TREC evaluation paradigm. 2005 Meta-Reflections on TREC, likely a similar or alternative version of the epilogue on TREC. 2005 Wearing Proper Combinations, an enigmatic title, likely a technical report or note on a specific research idea or metaphor. 2006 What's the value of TREC? Is there a gap to jump or a chasm to bridge? A critical assessment of TREC's utility, questioning whether its tasks adequately connect to real-world search problems. 2006 Collective Intelligence, It's All in the Numbers, a short, perspective piece on the nature of collective intelligence, possibly relating to web search and collaboration. 2006 Information Retrieval and Digital Libraries, Lessons of Research, discusses what IR research can teach and learn from the domain of digital libraries. 2007 Automatic Summarizing, The State of the Art, a major, comprehensive review article capturing the advancements, methodologies, and open challenges in automatic text summarization. 2007 Ambiguous Requests, Implications for Retrieval Tests, Systems, and Theories, analyzes how user queries containing ambiguity affect the design of retrieval tests, systems, and underlying theories. 2007 Computational Linguistics, What About the Linguistics Appointed article arguing for the continued central importance of linguistic insight and theory within the increasingly empirical field of computational linguistics. 2007 Natural Language and the Information Layer, likely a conference talk or paper discussing the role of natural language in the architecture of information systems. 2007 Statistics and Retrieval, Past and Future, discusses the historical and future relationship between statistical methods and information retrieval. 2007 Semantic Primitives, The Tip of the Iceberg, a book chapter exploring the concept of basic semantic units and the complexity that lies beneath them. 2007 Last Words, final editorial or commentary piece, possibly for a journal like Computational Linguistics. 2013 Tailoring Output to the User, What Does User Modeling in Generation, a later entry or citation of the earlier work on user modeling in natural language generation systems. Karen Spärck Jones passed away on April 4, 2007, in Willingham, Cambridgeshire, at the age of 71 after a battle with cancer. Her death occurred just weeks after she was honored with the BCS Lovelace Medal and the ACM Athena Award, recognizing her lifetime of pioneering contributions to information retrieval. She remained an active and influential figure in the academic community until the very end, leaving behind a legacy that continues to power the algorithms of the modern digital age.